Hello, everyone. I am Priyanka Cholera, and welcome to the Speak Synergy podcast. So, as you know, in this podcast, we encourage storytellers and people from normal life to share their journeys. Why? Because, as Brené Brown famously said, that the way someone survived their journey will be a guide in someone else's book. Today, I have Sheba with me, and she's a person going about her daily life. She's a lecturer at a nursing school, but there is a part of her story that is meant to inspire millions. And Shiba has been through a very deep pain in her life that none of us can imagine, or even if we can, we can't empathize with it because we won't be able to. The pain is so deep and so painful, and none of us would be able to even compare to what we have been through. So Shiba's story might inspire you or people around you. So I want to give it over to Shiba to ask her to introduce herself to the audience and also share what brings her here today.
Hi Priyanka. So I'm Sheba Abraham, now Lirin, and thank you for having me over. I'm a lecturer in a nursing college in Jalna. Uh, yeah, so I've like grown up in a normal family, like a conservative family, like you all. And after I finished my bachelor's, I got married at the age of 21. Um, and after 2 years, I had a beautiful girl. Her name is Jordan. On the 27th of June, early morning, we started from Jalna to go to Kerala because my brother was coming over with his first child. We had not met Benjamin at the time. So, very excited. I wanted to meet my nephew. So, yeah, so there are no flights from Aurangabad. So, we had to fly from Pune to Kochi. So, we started about 4 o'clock from early in the morning at 4 o'clock from Jalna. And midway, just 26 or 30 kilometers before reaching Ahmednagar, we met with an accident. So my daughter has motion sickness or travel sickness. So my aim is that she sleeps throughout till the time we reach Pune. So in between, she woke up and it was like sunrise. And it was cold outside. Outside, I still remember uh, dawn, the rising of the sun, the lights and everything, and it was very cold, windy, and we'd stopped for a brief moment. Then, uh, because the vehicle stopped, she also woke up, and then I told her go back to sleep. And then it just she was looking into my eyes, and I was telling her to sleep, and somehow I closed my eyes, and my husband was sitting in the front. He was wearing a seatbelt, and I think he also had a shut eye, and so did the driver. And we dashed from behind into a long trailer, the long truck which carries heavy automobiles or things like that. So we dashed from behind, and the truck carried us for some time, and then the bang was so loud that the villagers who were working in the fields nearby came onto the road, and then the vehicle stopped. But these are all things that my husband narrated, and dissociative amnesia. So still till today, I don't remember any of those things. And those villagers really came, helped us, and um, took us out of our vehicle. Like if you would see the vehicle, no one would say that anyone would survive. And our driver was stuck uh, in the seat. He had both the legs fractured, one arm fractured, and my husband was wearing a seat belt, luckily. Otherwise, he would have died right on the spot. And because he was alive, he broke through the front mirror glass, and then he jumped out of the vehicle, and in between his seatbelt got stuck, so he somehow removed it, and he jumped out, and then he could take me out, and then take Jordan out. And Jordan was still sleeping. She was unconscious. She didn't know anything. Like, the primary impact itself was so huge that she had gone into coma or unconsciousness at that time. And I don't remember anything. I just have two flashes of memories in my mind. One is of the yellow shrug that I was wearing, was completely red, and some sensations in my mouth, my teeth, a feeling of cold and bleeding, and that are the only two flashes of memories that I have of the entire incident. And people say that, I don't know, my entire dress was red. I was bleeding profusely, and I had sandals in my one footwear on my one feet, and the other feet was bare. And I was walking like that. And my husband and we all, the villagers, helped us to get into a bus, and the tourist bus, to take us to Nagar. In between, like, my husband called my father-in-law and told him that we met with an accident. And he said, I don't know when I'll lose my consciousness or what would happen, so please talk to this person standing nearby. And that was some other truck driver. So he gave him the phone, and this person spoke to my father-in-law, and just took off with the phone. He just stole the phone, wouldn't give back. Like, our only source of communication was also taken at that time. So and then we got on to the bus. My Jordan was still unconscious and sleeping, or in coma. And I was standing, sitting, I don't remember. Then we had some of our business partners, relatives staying in Nagar. So they were out for a morning walk, and they came to the toll booth and took us from there, like, in the auto, to two hospitals. Like, one hospital, when we came to one hospital, they said they wouldn't take Jordan because she was, like, in a very critical condition. So they took me, uh, did some just to stop the bleeding. So they said, if you would have been 5 minutes late, I would not have survived because I was bleeding profusely. And I had multiple injuries, multiple fractures. Just yeah. So then Jordan got admitted in the same hospital as my husband, and my sister-in-law, who's a oral surgeon, and her husband too. So both had come down from Sangamner. Then they knew a doctor in Aurangabad, Dr. Vijay Deshmukh. Like, he's the best um, surgeon, a maxillofacial surgeon, and many things. Like, he's an expert. Like, he's a boss. So then they shifted me to Aurangabad, and that's where I had my surgery 3 days later. Just a correction surgery of my face, micro surgery, which went on for 7 hours. And uh, there's a mesh under my orbital floor just to keep my eye from popping out, like, to keep it intact. There are titanium mesh. There are screws. Then they held my teeth with the help of wires, because everything had come out because of the impact. And meanwhile, my daughter was there in the hospital, in the on the ventilator, and my husband was also there, in the next floor. So the family was practically here and there, few in Nagar and Aurangabad. So it was very difficult. And then my father and my brother also flew in the same day. So everything was very disturbed. And then I wanted to see my daughter. So then my husband tried to bring her to Aurangabad to me, because I said I want to go there. So he was like, I don't want to lose you also, so better bring her here. So we then shifted Jordan to Aurangabad. And that's when I went to see her after the accident for the first time. So being a nurse, I've seen many children on ventilators with so many wires you can possibly imagine. But I never thought of seeing my daughter in the same way that I saw the patients. And I went and I was like, she's very cold, so better make her, like, cover her up with a blanket or anything. But little did I know that she was just on the support of the ventilator and nothing else. So then the doctor explained the things to me. Like, the primary impact itself had uh, disconnected the neural tube. So even if she stays like that, how long are you going to take care of her? Like maybe, who knows, maybe a year, 2 years, 6 months, maybe till the time you are there, you will take care of her. But then afterwards, who will? You know. So then I had to make a decision for her to take her off the venti and do an MRI scan. So that's when we decided that we are going to do an MRI. But the same day, she had she gave up, and then she passed away on the 4th of July, just exactly 1 week after the accident happened. So
So I knew a bit of the story because we were going to do this podcast, but now I didn't know the intricate details of it. And when you're just walking me through, I just feel like this morning when I woke up, and it's been a while since I woke up complaining about a lot of things, and it just made me realize how small my problems are compared to what you went through. Like,
yeah,
this having just life is such a blessing, and if you ever complain about it, like, you know, you should never. And I'm very, very sorry. I know you don't like maybe being told sorry, but I'm genuinely very sorry for what has happened. It's unfair and it's not done. I mean, I've seen pictures of Jordan, like, and she was an angel, like, definitely. The earth didn't deserve her. I think we spoke about it also. So thank you so much for sharing
yeah,
this. And
yeah. So it is my privilege to be her mother. Like I am blessed. At the age of 23, I had a child, and even though she lived only for 30 months, she gave us all the love. Me and my husband could actually more love than we could deserve. So and she was always very, not meant, as you said, not meant for this place. She was always very royal, very classy. She didn't like other children crying over the same thing. She would just instantly give, you take and keep quiet, like that. And everyone who's met her always remember her, like the meeting, even if it would be just once. So she was definitely not meant for this place. That is what I tell and console myself. But what I've lost. Okay, it is like irreparable. Um, yeah, but she was very different from other children. Not because I'm a mother, I still have two kids now, and when I see them and when I see her, she was definitely different uh, than what my two kids are now.
yeah. So, Shiva, the one of the main reasons we are recording this podcast is to, yes, the pain, but once you once that night passes, you have to live with a day where what you lost is so
Yes,
tangible that you can feel the absence of it. Like, you know,
yes,
like the loss is so, like, you can feel it. Like, it's like entire person
yes,
who's not there anymore, right?
yes,
So I just want you to
yes.
I just want to know from you what happened and how you healed, how you started your healing journey after it, because it's I think it's been 8 years now since the accident, I
Yes,
guess, yeah.
yes,
But I still feel it's a
yes,
fraction of time
yes.
that has passed. So how did you cope up with it after that? What looked like the healing journey?
Yeah. So grief was always very personal to me and my husband. Like even though I could write it in words, but I could never express my emotions or my sentiments in person or in words. So it has always been personal. Like it was always to us. We kept it to us, and uh, every day. I mean, it took us a lot of time. So basically, the first, like I told you, I had dissociative amnesia. I didn't remember anything, and my eyes were like I could not see properly. My vision was blurred. I came into consciousness, at least like things that I can remember. I lost the track for at least 10 to 12 hours, and after that, when I came into consciousness, I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't process what had happened to me. And in that process, like I heard or my relatives, my family preparing me, like this has happened and things like that. And I still had it in my mind, why haven't we reached Pune yet, like to board the flight? So it was right from that time, the the pain, the grief happened. I could not even cry properly for my daughter because I was also suffering from my injuries. So my mental pain, my agony was so much that I actually couldn't feel my physical pain at that time. And like I kept asking, what about her prognosis? Like, is she going to make it, or what about it? So I guess by my relatives, like they kept telling me that this has happened and all that. There are very few chances that she will survive. Uh, Having said that, I kind of prepared my mind, and they helped me prepare my mind to accept that something like this has happened. So I've always had the ability to introspect what is going on in my life since when I was a kid. I knew that we are just merely living in this world. Everything is good when we have our eyes open. Once our eyes are shut, it is just darkness. So I knew that, and we are not in control of anything in this world. The knowledge of the superpower or God, the life, death, everything. Like I was very used to all these things, but I never thought that such things would happen to me. So the first thing is that it took me time to process, even though like I was in physical as well as mental agony, and I accepted what had happened to me. And because I accepted, I guess everything went uh, rather smoothly, I would say, to get over with the grief process. And I had my family, my friends always around me, like my husband's friends, my friends, our family. My sister-in-law was throughout, like always with me throughout my surgery. My parents and my in-laws, they were all with Jordan. So everyone like constantly there to help us out, and they were always there for us. So I guess the healing was uh, little, like it took place in stages, I would say, because my physical healing took place in stages. Also, my mental healing took place in stages. There were nights when I and my husband used to cry to sleep, and I always kept it in my mind that uh, I had this fear that over a period of time, even though you love someone, you have their memories, but you still would forget what they would smell like, what they would sound like. Over a period of time, you would definitely forget all those things. So I didn't want to forget any of those things. So I started writing a small journals. She was just 30 months old, so there were like all the words that she said. I wrote it down in a journal, the words that she said, the way she pronounced it exactly in, because I didn't want to forget even a single thing. Like that is memory, if it goes unattended for some time, you just lose track of that information detail that you have in your head. So how they smell like, how they sound, how they're tiny, tiny details about a person. So I started writing a journal. I started listening to people. I started listening to people, those who uh, religious people, also motivational speakers, many people. And then I took examples of other people's lives, feeling that, as you said, your problems are little. And I also took example from that okay, my problems are little. There are people, those who are actually living every day with bigger problems than mine. So being just grateful for what I had, the child the opportunity to be her mother itself was such a big thing for me, to hold all her memories together. And that was very important. Also, my physical uh, healing, I had over a year I had a swelling on this side of my eye. There, like I told you, there were titanium plates under my eyes. So all those, I had a black eye, ecchymosis. There were stitches and everything all over my face. Like this side, the left side of my face, were completely, sorry, the right the right side of my face were completely um, shattered. So it took time, and there were wires. I couldn't eat properly. Even just plain without any chili, if you could make anything for me, it would feel very spicy. Even the apple juice would, like I would find it very spicy. So I started from there. So I had my wired, like I couldn't open my mouth too much, so I had to take everything in through a straw for the first 2 months. Everything because my face was all shattered. My father, I still remember my father telling me that, see, God has made you beautiful. The original version, He has made you beautiful. So don't think that His own creation, like His own creation, He will ever make it ugly. So you keep, like He told me to keep faith, and He will restore you back. That is what He said. So yeah, so like you hear people saying, look into the mirror and keep telling those words or declaring those words over you, over your life, so that you actually become like that. And I actually did. Like, it might sound silly, but then I used to look in the mirror and keep telling myself that you're strong, you're courageous, you're beautiful. And that actually, and it actually helps. Like, I, out of experience, I'm telling this, but it actually helps telling things or declaring things over you, and you become what you think. So that those things were very, very important, and like I hold that recovery phase very close to my heart.
There is this book called Think Like a Monk. It's by Jay Shetty. And
Yeah,
in his book entirely, he says that in my previous life, before I became a monk and after I became a monk, like, and
yeah.
they say that I had a rebirth when I became a monk. I feel
Hmm.
in that accident, even though you survived, you had a rebirth because
Yes,
you couldn't go back to who you were. You had to
yes.
give yourself a new life again.
Hmm.
And I guess, yeah, that is a very, what can I say, courageous, because you had no other option left, right? Like, you
Yes,
had a partner to look after, you had a family to answer to. Even though as a mother you might not ever heal, but you were also playing the role of a partner, which we come to next, like being a partner and being a daughter to somebody, being a sister to somebody. Those roles were still alive and they were still there to attend to, right?
yes.
Yeah.
uh, so I would say that my husband's pain is much, much greater than mine, because he's the one who actually saw it, and he's the one who actually did. For me, it was just what he told me, but things are there in his mind still. All those memories of taking us to the hospital, being with us in the bus in the hospital, and when he came to meet me to the doctors after my surgery, that was the first time he was seeing me after the accident, like almost 6 days, 5 days later. So he didn't know how I looked like, and the first thing that he did, he came inside the hospital room and he told that, will you marry me again? That is the first thing that he told me. So yeah, so, and there were at the same time many people who fell unconscious when they saw me. My father-in-law cried out aloud, my father cried, everyone, like for whom what I was, everyone actually. My uh, sister-in-law's son, my nephew, he came and told, like he said that this is not my Sheba mommy. So, so there were such reactions, and like my husband telling me that was like the best thing that I wanted at that time. So it is that they all took care of me. Like, instead of me taking care of them, my husband took care of me. He had dashed his knees in the dashboard. Like, he couldn't walk properly for a long time. There were abrasions of the seat belts and the glass pieces on his head and everything. So he also went to the trauma, more than the physical, the mental trauma of losing, seeing his own child. um uh, not waking up in front of his eyes and seeing his loved one in so much pain, and the, like, for him, even if his knee hurts or he hurts anywhere, like blood, like he would think, no, no, I don't want to see this, like I'm feeling giddy. That is who he is. And then seeing
Yeah.
your loved one in so much blood is like, and handling everything, all that, with so much courage. Like, it is him, I would say, uh, who deserves all the things, not me. So he took care of me. He's the one who took care of me. My mother-in-law took care of me. Like, she would make things. So when you say that. I had to play a role. Actually, they all played a very big role in my life. My sister-in-law, my friends, my dad, my mom, my brother, his family, everyone played a very important role. Like for them, their at most prime importance was that I should get better.
Yeah.
So they all, we had each other, me and my husband, we had each other. We could cry in front of each other, we could sleep together, like in her memory. And every time I still remember that when we had a dream about her, you would wake up very fresh and happy just to know that, oh, she's not there, like that. So there are so many nights that we spent sleeping and crying, and just being in this pain. Actually, for me, thinking about her, crying over it, crying over her memories and everything has actually helped me to come out of, like, not to forget her or anything, but still come out of it, and accepting that this has happened to us. So yeah, so he is my anchor, actually, my husband, and he's the one who took me through that time. Like he was with me, like he stood by me like a rock throughout those months where I suffered all this.
So, Sheba, we have discussed everything at length so far, and you've been very brave to like share your journey in detail. And uh, and we have heard everything from your perspective as a mother, but then you had, because you are young and you lost a child at 23, you had a life ahead of you. So, just as part of my last question, how did you find the courage to start a family again? And also your partner, it takes a lot of courage to tell each other, okay, we can do this again. Now we have two beautiful children, and to not let that experience shadow their upbringing, because it's difficult to go through the same experiences but with a new set of people, like. And also, how did you convince your family that give you your own time of healing and getting out of this? So just if you can tell our audience about that.
So even when you decide to have children, you'll always have the fear of again going through all that. So
Yeah.
then, but I knew that I didn't control anything. Like in this, whatever happens will happen, but I can't deprive myself of uh, like being a mother to children or doing that. So definitely I had a lot of support from my husband, my family. It took me a lot of time to finish my treatment, like almost 1.5 years. So then I decided to go um, for another baby after that. And uh, this time I just gave everything into God's hands, and whatever happens will happen. Even I can't control anything. I knew that very like full well, that I won't be able to control anything. So that since you don't control anything, uh, but you can't deprive yourself from not having children. And I was just grateful for the things that I had, accepting and being grateful. I was grateful that I was a mother to Jordan, and she taught me everything that I um, would not have imagined. The love that she gave, I wanted that love again, being loved as a mother. So and I wanted my husband to have the same love. So I just could not say that I'm not going to have a kid because I'm scared or something like that. This fear will always be there. We can't run away from it. But then just wanting to be loved uh, again definitely made me go for a baby again, and just being grateful. So now when I weigh um, my losses and my blessings over a scale, when I measure those, my blessings definitely are on a higher scale than my losses. So um, I don't regret anything. Like I don't regret um, having two babies or like being a mother to Jordan. I don't regret any of it. Even though the loss is like irreparable, I can't like probably put it in words what it is to me, but um, yeah, just being thankful, and like my heart is full of gratitude every day when I wake up and I see my children sleeping next to me. It's definitely gratitude, and when I am very thankful to everything that I have today, I am content.
Yeah. That is so beautiful. You have taught me so much about life today. Like I was just telling my sister or my family, I spoke to this person and she's so brave. She's been through so much, and I just can't imagine. Like I just can't. Like I know that even when you lose something, when you lose a pen, like even when you lose something that's your own, I like that's a very silly example, but recently like I dropped my phone in water and it stopped working, and I was like, oh my god, my phone stopped working. Even the materialistic things are replaceable. You attach yourself so much to it that you feel, oh my god, what happened? And just to lose something so big and so like humongous with a life of its own, I can't imagine what pain you must have been through. So if you had to like summarize something for somebody who's going through any kind of loss, through a breakup or through a job loss, because losses feel the same, they bring the same pain, right, in different shapes and forms, what would be your advice to them, that how to start their journey and how to keep going at it?
Yeah, so first thing about road traffic accidents, I'd say that uh, don't travel at night. Stop over someplace, travel during the day, and like seat belts are very important. Never go without a seat belt, and never keep you sit your kids in the front row. If you can afford a car seat, please definitely go for that. Car seats are very very important. If you like meet with an accident, car seats really help the children to survive. And then speed limit, definitely these are things that I learned from the road traffic accidents. And anyone who's going through loss, like the reason for me to do this is like I have my best friend who went through the same situation of losing a baby like me. So she found my support and my things very helpful, and
Mm.
so did many others. So I felt, why not share this and make them feel uh, like confident about it, even though it is just God's grace and courage and strength that He gave me to overcome all this. But still, I feel that accepting what has happened to you, because you are nothing in this world, you are no one. Everything matters if you are just alive. If you just shut your eyes and you can't see anything, you are no one. So, accepting what has happened to you is the first thing. Second thing is being grateful for whatever you had, even though if you have lost it, even though that person is not there in your life anymore, but still being grateful that you've actually blessed to have them in your life. Like, instead you being in their life, you had them in their life. So cherishing all those memories are very important. I really, till the time I am alive, I don't want Jordan to be forgotten. And I do that. Like, we've made it a family thing to take my kids to the cemetery and visit her every fourth of every month. So don't forget, the memories are very precious. Don't forget your, like, you would never forget, but still always celebrate their lives. Like, they are in your lives. That itself is the best thing that has happened to you. So celebration of their lives, just being grateful for having them in your life. So these are the things I feel would help other people. And if you want to go through a professional help, go for it, like therapy or anything. You don't have to go through anything alone. When you have so many options nowadays, people in India feel that therapy is like, you've gone crazy, so you need therapy. No, sometimes you need to compartmentalize, prioritize your things. So therapy is definitely um, recommended.
Yeah, even I think we discussed this on phone call too. Like, go for it. Like, whatever
Yeah,
helps you sleep better at
yeah.
night, right? Like, Sheba is
Whatever helps at night, or anything that helps you keep your regular routine,
yeah.
well, go for it.
Yeah, like when I think when we spoke on call also, you said that, it's just take life as it is, you're not in control, and that
Yeah,
is the way you think of world.
yeah,
And I think whatever helps you, some
yeah.
people think that we create our own destiny, some people think that everything is up to God, but whatever helps you, whatever works best for you, you take that
Yes,
explanation and run with it.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Everything happens one day at a time. It doesn't happen all together. So take
yeah,
things one day at a time. Don't like, you can just be okay. even though if it takes a lifetime, you are not okay with something that has happened. Okay, and it's okay not to be okay. That is um, the thing, because
Yeah,
it's not a normal thing that can happen to anyone every day. So it is not a normal thing. So it's okay if it is not okay. If you need help, go for it. You don't have to face anything alone. So yeah,
that's so wonderful. Thank you so much, Shiba. I mean, everything that you said was so personal. It was so painful. Even though I am a stranger to you, like I was couple of days ago, like all I want to do is give you a big tight hug right now and just celebrate the bravery you have. I mean, just going back and living. I feel when you go through something painful, you live it every day to a point that you just stop telling people around you
yes,
that you are
yes,
living it every day because you're just tired of telling people that you know
yes,
what you're going through. Yeah. So
yes,
pain is pain, any form, any whether you lose somebody to a breakup or a a friendship loss, or whether you lose someone to death. Loss is a loss, and nothing can repair
yes,
the loss you have, right? But we all can heal from it,
yes,
and yeah, that is what your journey
yes.
says. Yeah,
Having said all this, I just want to take time to just thank few people in my life, because I know, even though it is, I would say that to their face, but it wouldn't matter, because now I have this platform. I really want to thank my father, my mother, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my husband, and my sister-in-law, her family, my brother, his family, my friends, my best friends, who were always with me throughout, would call me every day, and my husband's friends, and everyone who were there for us at that time, even the doctors and everyone. So I just want to take this time to thank all those people in my life who played a major role at the time of my suffering. So yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It
Thank.
was like a pleasure talking, and
Likewise.
I felt very anxious first, but now I'm like very comfortable.
I'm very
Thank you
happy
so
that you
much.
felt comfortable.
You feel like that. Yeah,
I I
yeah,
believe we all meet for a reason, and you met me to inspire me personally. I'm very grateful I got to talk to you, and all the people who would be watching this, few days later or a couple of months later, whenever you watch this, know that you are watching this for a reason. You might be in pain or you might be going through something.
yeah,
So this podcast might help you navigate through it. So take all the help you need. Go to
yeah,
therapy. I have been to therapy personally and it's amazing. So go to therapy, take all the help you
yeah.
need. Yeah, thank you so much. Stay tuned for more episodes
Thank
that
you.
will come.
So,
Yeah. And just thank you to Jelsina for organizing this. We really missed you today. And she'll be hosting further podcasts. I was
really,
just stepping in today in her shoes. So thank you so much, Sheba, for joining.
thank you to Jelsina, and thank you, Priyanka. Thank you so much.